I'm joined by Colt Emerson, Ohio's top-ranked player in 2023 and an Auburn signee out of John Glenn High School. Colt, thanks for making the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me on.
So smooth, easy juice to all fields, advanced hit traits. The scouts just rave about you at the plate. Take me a little bit inside the mentality as a hitter. So you go up with a plan, you adjust as an at-bat goes on, how the hitter approaches you. Take me inside your mentality.
Yeah, my mentality is as simple as possible. It starts on the deck circle. You see if the pitcher's tipping pitches, anything like that, see where his arm spot is. But really, it all starts with the mentality of nobody's beating me, right? I'm the best. This is my box. Nobody's beating me because once you let the pitcher get inside your head, you're done, right? You got to have full confidence and also, too, full aggression. You got to have a plan to go up there, and you're only going to get one or two good pitches during that bat. So you got to be aggressive, and you really got to go after it. So I try to be super aggressive. I stick to the same approach until we get to two strikes, and that changes up just like any good hitter would. But yeah, I just try to shoot a line drive right over the shortstop's head, double in the gap, try to break down the fence. Really, I try to stay as simple as possible. But the key for me really is be confident, right? Be confident and aggressive.
I know a lot of guys as they go into that senior year and they've got a reputation. Obviously, you made a lot of noise for Team USA. They don't get pitched to the same as they did before. How has that been for you this year? Are you seeing the quality of at bats that you were before? Or are you guys completely approaching you a different way now?
As it gets later in the game, I'm getting pitched around more. But as far as now, like I'm getting let off, like I lead off. So really, I can be as aggressive as I want. Normally, I'm getting a lot of off speed, but like I'm good enough to where, hey, if they hang it, any off speed, I'm good enough to hit that hard, especially because the competition I face is not as good as it would be in the summer. So really, especially in the early part of the game, I can be aggressive, hit a fastball, and do the same thing I normally would. But as it gets late in the game, yeah, I might get, if it's a close game, I might get intentionally walked and whatever. But you learn to handle it. I handle it pretty well. I don't let it affect me because ultimately, if you get walked, you got to trust the guy behind you and you got to do whatever you can on base to get to the next bag to help your team out. Really, that's all it is. You don't think of it selfishly, but you got to think, how can I get to the next base to help the guy up the bat score me? Right. So I don't think much of it. And I just try to be myself and be as aggressive as I can and get to the next base and do whatever I got to do.
I've seen interviews where you talk about not making things bigger than they are when it comes to baseball. Where does that ability to compartmentalize and simplify things come from?
I just think really it's just the mindset from when I was younger. I realized like I've had good mentors over my whole baseball career and starting from my dad, he always said, don't make, especially my hitting coach too, those two, they said, don't do too much, right? You can only do what you can, but don't try to do too much, right? Do all you can. And I just think it's just in my mind through the last, I don't know, 5 years that, I realized some guys don't realize that if you make baseball as simple as possible, it's easy. It's more easy than if you would try to put all the weight on your shoulders. But if you just be a team player, play with your guys, and make other people realize, simplify it. Don't try to do too much. You don't have to try to hit a home run every single time, right? Put a ball in the gap, be smart in the base pass, and you're fine, right? That's all you got to do, especially if you trust the guys behind you. That's especially high school baseball season, because I could have came in this year thinking I had to have 30 home runs and that I got to do everything to win the game. But no, I trust my guys and I do all I can do. And that's good enough because I trust the guys behind me.
Baseball obviously makes your world go round, but what are you doing when you're not playing baseball or working on your craft? Like, what are those other interests that you have?
Yeah, I live in a small town in Ohio, and I live on about 100 acres of land. So I hunt, fish, I do all that. I love the outdoors. It's peace. That's all it is. Especially I know coming up in the future, I'm going to be gone. And I really take the time to appreciate what I have now, because I know there's going to be a time the next few years where I'm not going to be able to go hunting as often, go fishing as often. So I take time and I appreciate it now, what I have. And really, I mean, I just appreciate the small things because I know at some point that I'm not going to have as much time to do that.
Yeah. So you put pen to paper signing with Auburn back in November. I mean, you had been committed to the Tigers for what, more than almost 3 years before you signed. Tell me when you knew a kid from Ohio that was going to go to the SEC in Auburn.
Yeah, when I was little, I always had dreams of being in MLB, committing to a college, but I never really, it really just set in. Like all I had to do was be myself and play and get it in front of the right people. And I knew it would happen, like like I said, in the confidence, like I had confidence that people would like me. And, if I play the game that I play, then, I just wanted to be at the best level and play at the best level. And they liked me and a bunch of other high level teams liked me. And, Auburn was an easy pick for me. So I just knew like, hey, this is what I could do.
I know your focus right now is on what you and the Muskies can get done before your senior year comes to an end, but your name's going to be called in the upcoming MLB draft, independent on whether you end up signing or not. Have you thought about what that moment's going to be like to kind of have that childhood dream realized of having your name called in the MLB draft?
It's kind of surreal at this point. It doesn't feel, I guess, real because I'm trying to make it through my senior year and control what I can control now. I don't think too far in the future, but like when I was younger, like it's always been a dream of mine, make it to the major leagues, like get drafted or whatever. And I just realized that would be super special, especially where I'm from. Like that would be super special for everybody here. And just going with that, I mean, it would be awesome. Like that's the dream, really.
All right, so we're painting the picture here of the senior season. If it ends the way you want it to, what's that going to look like?
Well, I mean, I would love to end on a winning, just win, right? I don't want to do anything other than win, right? Because if we're winning, we're doing something right, right? We're playing as a team. All I want to do is win. Like I've told everybody from the beginning, I don't care what happens, we win. That's all I want to do.
Nice and simple. I wouldn't expect anything other than way you had that mentality, man. I love it. Cool.
Yeah, and the playoffs are coming up, and you go one game at a time. One game at a time. You make it as far as you can. That's all I tell my guys.
All right. Well, listen, Colt, man, thanks for the time. Wishing you nothing but the best the rest of the season and with that decision to come, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.